Hi everyone. Um, so, remember my last video when I said about Miss Pac-Man and how I think she would have been handled differently, especially due to legal issues of the character, more specifically the arcade games surrounding Miss Pac-Man? Well, I think that Miss Pac-Mom should have been Miss Pac-Man, but, elevated. An elevated version of Miss Pac-Man, being now referred to as Pac-Mom, and Pac-Man's children being referred to as Pac-Boy and Pac-Sis. I mean, that's probably the point, anyways. But for Miss Pac-Man being Pac-Mom, I would also include the brown hair that Miss Pac-Man had in the Hanna-Barbera cartoon, where she's also referred to as Pepper. It's probably the only time that Miss Pac-Man even had hair, but in the original, concepts for the character, Miss Pac-Man had, red hair and a yellow bow. And, similar to her original sprite, she had blue eyes, which, cute. I do think that Miss Pac-Man or Pac-Mom should be updated with hair, having a red bow on the hat, or equivalent to the ribbon. And her legs to be shortened a bit because her long legs are a bit distracting and really weird. Also, her pink gloves are a bit too big. I'm just saying. But yeah, why don't add some earlier stuff from Miss Pac-Man into Pac-Mom? The brown hair, the red bow or ribbon, um, um, maybe even some blush, and I don't know. Last night I went to DeviantArt and due to certain people blocking me, I had to log out of my account, and I saw that their posts on one of their posts talking about how about certain about people being interested in certain stuff on DeviantArt, especially since, he talked about how on DeviantArt people are into different stuff, including inflation. And while he's okay with anyone else being into certain stuff on DeviantArt, he personally just don't want to get involved, which I understand. I mean, everyone else has their own unique quirks, their own kinks, and sure, many people may not like everything or be weirded out by certain stuff, and that's completely fine, just as long as they're not a jerk. I'm serious. I have tried to say this many times in certain videos, but if you're weirded out by certain stuff that I like, I have nothing against that. Just please don't be a jerk about it. Please. I still want certain things to happen and, you know, for you know who to die. But I don't want to focus on that right now. I would still want to talk on TikTok about someone who I think should portray my character because she's literally perfect for it. I'm working on Dear Richard and the Amai X Ludwig von Kuba story. Both on Wattpad, both on separate accounts. One on my tablet and one on my phone. Excuse me. I saw on Reddit that apparently the Mary Schmidt and Michael Afton ship is canon, but also some one other thing is canon to the Five Nights at Freddy's universe. I tried to find if this was true or not, and it isn't, but I still wonder if Michael Afton and Mary Schmidt are actually officially a canonized couple. And if that's the case, maybe Marilyn and maybe even my character might show up. Who knows? Or maybe they're just mentioned off screen and that Michael is living happily ever after with Mary and not having to deal with his father being back from the dead. I mean, hey, it's possible. But seriously, I want them canon. Regardless. I have already said this, if the Mary Schmidt character was canon to the FNAF universe, I would obviously get rid of the big age gap, even though it's not exactly a problem, but if people are still concerned about the big age gap and that, since Five Nights at Candy's is not actually canon to the current Five Nights at Freddy's story, and I completely get it. Removing that big age gap would be fine, but yeah, it would be fine. Mary's story from Five Nights at Candy's would still stay the same. Except since she witnessed the murder as an accident, she would probably go to court and say that she witnessed the murder and she knows that it was an accident and that the puppeteer didn't mean to kill them. He would still go to jail but not be executed. He would then be released, and when Mary and Mike and when Mary is grown up, married to Mike, she and the puppeteer would become family friends, and Mary would invite him to her and Mike's wedding. Sorry. Oh my god, my nose. I'm fine. You know, to pass the time without being absolutely quiet and stupidly not having anything else to say, why don't I just talk about some stories or some things that I have about my middle school experience. Now, oh yeah, you know, I used to see videos of people ranting about Speechy's video of her art teacher hating her guts because of her art teacher being an absolute bitch and saying that art drawing isn't real art, and that Speechy was not going to stand for her teacher's BS. People thought that Speechy was absolutely stupid for hating her, having her teacher hate her, but going against her teacher's I can't speak, wishes, I don't blame her. I don't blame her. I do not blame her at all. Why? Because some teachers can actually be bitches. Absolute jerks. I mean it. Not all teachers are nice. Some teachers are stupid. Some teachers are mean. Some teachers are flat out evil. Or crazy. I have my fair share of stupid, jerkish, evil teachers. Mostly from middle school. But there was one time during 5th grade in drama class where the drama teacher, Mrs. Smith, had me and this one of her student in this room, and she confronted us from something that we didn't even do, and I was absolutely terrified. Now, the drama teacher, Mrs. Smith, is the mother of Miss Smith, my main homeroom teacher. Yeah. I tried to avoid Mrs. Smith as much as possible. Maybe not even take her class again. And thankfully, I didn't have to deal with her anymore when I entered middle school. I still had to go to that same stupid school, North Fort Myers Academy for the Arts, ever since 4th grade. I hated that school. But there were actually good classes out there, like art, PE, reading, but social studies and math during middle school, absolutely not. My teachers, Miss Thomas and Miss Herzig, absolute bitches. I hated them. And the teacher assistant, Miss Gonzalez, saying to me that stupid is a bad word when I feel like it's absolute BS. Anyway, that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it or not. Please stay safe. See you in the next video. Bye.